Hello and welcome. My name is Christina from Empowered Creator. I am a mindset and conscious manifesting teacher and coach, and this is my YouTube channel. Here I talk about all things law of assumption, mindset, conscious manifesting, the quantum universe, and a lot more. And my goal is to simplify everything without the fluff. So if you guys like this content and you would like to see more of it, I would love it if you would subscribe to this channel, comment on this video, like it, share it, and stick around. Also, if you need help with your specific situation, I offer one-on-one coaching as well as custom subliminals for whatever needs you may have. I also have some self-study courses about manifesting your specific person. And I also have a members-only channel with a lot of perks for members, including weekly live group coaching, weekly live workshops with a different manifesting topic each week, a lot of exclusive content, monthly challenges for a chance to win a free one-on-one coaching session with me, and so on. So if you're interested in any of these services, the links are below in the description box. Click on them and they're going to take you to my website or to the membership channel. With all that being said, let's dive into today's video. In today's video, I'm going to answer a question that I'm being asked from time to time, and I'm going to answer it from my own perspective, my own experience, what I see in other people, in people I coach, some of the people I coach, because many others do not fall into this category, but some of the people I have coached. And it might sound a little bit like a rant, but hopefully you guys will find it motivating, inspirational, and it's going to help you clarify any misconceptions that you may have around the subject. So the question I'll be answering today is, why do people fail at manifesting? So this is what I'll be discussing in today's video. Stay tuned. So as I said, this is a question I get from time to time. And it's understandable that a lot of people, especially when they're first starting out in conscious manifesting, they have this fear of failure. They have this fear of, what if I don't manifest my desires? What if I'm spending all this time focusing on my desire, shifting my states and this and that, and then in the end, I don't get my desire? And so a lot of the time, I'm being asked this question, so why do people fail at manifesting? If my desire is a promise, if my desire is sure to manifest, why do people still fail? And this is a very good question. This is a very legit question. And it's a question that I can actually answer, I think, with a lot of certainty, because everything I've seen and everything I've observed in relation to this matter, it all comes to the same point. So the number one reason, if not the only reason, you guys, people fail at manifesting is because they give up. And I'm going to explain what I mean in a second, because I don't mean it in the way that you probably think I mean it. I'm sure if you've been in the manifesting community for any amount of time, you've heard the whole concept of persist, persist, persist. You need to persist in order to get results and all that stuff. That is accurate, that is true, that is correct. However, what do we actually mean by persisting? A lot of people take that to mean I need to persist in my techniques. And obviously, at some point, if you're persisting in your techniques, if you're affirming all day long, for months on end, maybe sometimes years on end, and you don't get results, you haven't seen results, I can see how a lot of people feel exhausted and feel tired and overwhelmed, and at some point they decide to give up. So here is the giving up that I just mentioned 2 minutes ago comes in, because it's not about giving up on your techniques. The persisting that people talk about, or at least the persisting that they should be talking about, is not about persisting in your techniques. It's not about persisting in your affirmations. It's not about doing affirmations 24/7 for months on end. Of course, you're going to get exhausted at some point. Of course, you're going to want to give up at some point. The persisting, you guys, and as such, the whole point of not giving up that I just made is about persisting in always expanding yourself, always expanding your consciousness, always expanding your states to higher and higher states, to higher and higher versions of yourself. Always persisting in perceiving and conceiving of yourself as a higher and higher and higher version, as a better and better and better version. The reason why people give up, And as such, the reason why they fail is because they approach manifesting from just the surface level of doing the techniques. And of course, after some time of doing the techniques over and over again and seeing no results, at some point, they're either going to conclude that, oh, this thing doesn't work, or maybe this doesn't work for me, or maybe this is nonsense, or maybe I'm not made for manifesting, whatever it is that the narrative each person forms in their mind. This is because they ended up exhausting themselves without actually persisting in what they needed to persist in the first place, which is constantly and continuously creating better and better and better versions of yourself and higher and higher and higher versions of your consciousness. Meaning, in practical terms, if you're manifesting a specific person and you start from a consciousness of they are rejecting me, they're ignoring me, they don't care to be with me, or they don't care to be back with me, if you're manifesting an ex-back, whatever your situation might be, and then over some time, you're expanding your consciousness to I am chosen, so of course they want to be with me. I am the person who cannot be rejected, so of course it's impossible that they would reject me. I am amazing, I am worthy, and so on, so of course they want to be with me. That, you guys, is an expansion of consciousness. And that is persisting in the right way in shifting your states, shifting your energy, shifting your perceptions of yourself and of your whole situation in alignment with what you actually desire to see, what you actually desire to experience. It's not at all about persisting in affirmations or in other techniques. It has everything to do with persisting in always leveling up, in always expanding your consciousness and your versions of self to higher and better versions. And this is the unfortunate point that a lot of people experience when they give up, is that essentially what they're failing at is not failing at manifesting their desires. They are failing to level up. They are failing to create a better version of themselves. In other words, they're giving up on themselves. So this is what I meant when I said in the beginning of this video that the main reason, the number one reason why people fail at manifesting is because they give up. What I meant is that they give up on themselves. They give up on leveling up. They give up on expanding their consciousness. They give up on conceiving of themselves and perceiving themselves as a better version, a version that is actually aligned with what they want. And of course, if you don't expand your consciousness, if you don't change your concept of self, if you don't shift within, if you just stick yourself to techniques, to repeating techniques, but without actually experiencing that inner shift, it is very, very likely that you're not going to see any changes in your 3D. And it is very, very likely that at some point you're going to get discouraged and disappointed and frustrated and exhausted and then give up. So I can tell you guys, all those people who fail at manifesting, it's because they have given up on themselves. They have given up of leveling up their own selves. They have given up on creating a different consciousness, a more expanded consciousness for themselves and of themselves. They essentially, as the Bible says and as Neville said, die in their sins. Meaning they fail to realize their true and real and highest potential. This is very, very important. Today's video might be a little more advanced. It might sound more spiritual, but ultimately, this is what we're doing as conscious manifestors. We are shifting ourselves into higher and better versions. We are perceiving reality from an ever-expanding consciousness, from an ever higher consciousness. And those who fail to realize that and just approach manifesting from the surface level, they end up dying in their sins. In other words, failing. In other words, not realizing their real potential. So this is it, you guys. This is the gist of it. Why do people fail at manifesting? They give up. They gave up too soon. They died in their sins. They did not persist enough in expanding their consciousness and expanding their versions of self. This is why people fail at manifesting, and for no other reason. Those people who do persist in the right way, there is no chance in the world, there is no chance in the entire universe that they're not going to manifest their desires. Because their desires, your desires, my desires, everyone's desires, come as a byproduct of where we keep our dominant consciousness. Once we expand our dominant consciousness to higher and higher levels, our desires automatically come in to match that dominant consciousness. So this is something that you guys need to understand deeply and realize deeply and start practicing. The more you resist it, the more you are delaying yourselves from essentially getting your manifestation, and the more you are running the risk of getting exhausted, getting overwhelmed by running around in circles and just approaching the matter on a very surface level, and ultimately increasing your risk of failing, as in giving up on yourself. With all that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video here. I intend that this has helped. As always, I very much appreciate you guys being on this channel, watching this content. I love making this content for you. And as always, I look forward to seeing you all at the next video. Until then, take care and bye-bye.